The copier dealer. Contact them for Power BZ or visit them at powercopiers.com. Here's your host, Scott Marsh, alongside the high flyer, Henry Turner.
And a very pleasant good evening to you. Welcome inside Golden One Center. It's time for game night right here. Sacktown Sports 1140. Scott Marsh along with the high flyer Henry Turner as the Kings are going to be at home for a while. A 7-game homestand, which will in large part determine where they're going to be in this playoff, play-in, play-out scenario. So a lot to go over in the next 60 minutes. And, of course, we've got you covered here right here on Sacktown Sports 1140. But, Henry, we had the weekend to process what we saw last week, and obviously it was not a good week for the Kings with those 3 losses. And it's not so much about the wins or the loss. I mean, it certainly is, but the way they lost to New York, followed up by Golden State, then on Friday night in Phoenix, it was definitely not a good week for the Kings.
No, not at all. I mean, by not any means of the stretch. I have to agree with you. It's not about the wins or the losses, but it is. Overall scheme of things, the Kings need W's to stay where they want to be. But I know what you're saying. You're talking about how they're losing basketball games. You're talking about the body language out there on the floor. You're talking about the energy and the effort that's supposed to be exuded out there on the floor. And you're really not seeing none of that as far as a young basketball team trying to come out and compete.
No doubt. And obviously I did not include the Clippers game, which really kicked off the week on Sunday as a part of that because they played their butts off on Sunday night.
They did.
And even though they lost in overtime, you left that and your heart was broken because of how hard they played, how well they played. And sometimes you just get beat on a great shot. And that's what happened in that game. But turn it around the next day against New York and then look at Thursday in the back-to-back against Phoenix. You can't say that about the other 3.
Scooter, I have to agree with you on that. I thought the Sacramento Kings did everything that they possibly could have done to win that basketball game. They played a great game against the Clippers. I will give them that. I can't look at that game and say, okay, well, they didn't play hard. They didn't play with energy. They didn't play with effort. They did all of those things. They just lost a hard-fought basketball game. But I think it's the timing of the loss that really, really hurt the Sacramento Kings because they needed that game.
Yep, they definitely did.
They needed that game, and I think that game took a little bit of the morale out, a little bit of the wind out of the locker room.
I would agree with that. So the Kings come in today. They're 33-33, exactly at 500 with 16 games left to go. They're 3 games back in the loss column of the Clippers, but technically 4 because the Clips have all the tiebreakers for that 8th spot. You got the Timberwolves who have won 8 straight. They're 11 games over 500. You got the Warriors who are 11 games over 500. They've won 7 straight. They're 14-1 with Jimmy Buckets. And so you really have to say right now, unless something miraculous happens, the Kings are playing for a 9 spot right now.
No catching them too. And they would really have to get on a heater, and the Clippers would have to fall off the side of the mountain in order to, be able to catch them or pretty much overtake them. But like you said, those other 2, Minnesota and Golden State, are too far gone.
Yeah, they're just rolling with it right now. Now on the reverse side of it, they're 3 games up in the loss column on the Mavs, 4 games up on the Suns. They have the tiebreakers against the Mavs, so basically 4 games up on them. We know Dallas can barely field a squad at this point. So, they're struggling. They've lost 3 straight, 8 of 10. The Suns, they took it to the Kings on Friday night, but boy, they got embarrassed nationally in LA yesterday to the Lakers. And again, not because they lost to the Lakers, but the way they played. They were absolutely just clobbered by the national media after that game for no effort on defense in that one, which makes Friday night even a little harder to accept.
And see, and that's how it snowballs, Scott, back down to the Sacramento Kings. As bad as they ripped Phoenix for playing the way that they played, well, Phoenix played that exact same way against the Sacramento Kings, but the Kings played at a level that allowed Phoenix to still be able to win playing the way that they play.
Yeah, it's hard to figure out. The Kings, Friday night, it was not good. Going down 122-106, 19 turnovers in that game, only 18 assists in that ball game for the Kings.
Wow. I mean, that tells you one or two things, Scott. It's either the Kings.
And let me correct me on that. 25 assists, 19 turnovers. Let me get that right.
It either says the Kings shot the ball very poorly, or their offense now is consisted of a lot of one-on-one to where guys are putting the ball down. They're still scoring, but the guys are putting the ball down and creating their own shot off the dribble.
No doubt. And again, Zach LaVine has been getting a lot of attention the past week just because of the lack of shots. Now, he did finish strong in that Phoenix game, but he was trending for another sub-10 shot game after 6 shots again on Thursday night and 7 shots in the Knicks game. So,
you know, as much as I praise Zach LaVine for when he plays good, I'm definitely going to call him out for when he doesn't. That game, to me, I was so disappointed in Zach because Zach was headed for another one of those games. He had only took 7 shots.
Yep.
The whole game. And then when he did decide to flip the switch, the game was over. It was 6 minutes
exactly.
left.
They were
in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
The game was over. Zach, we need you to flip that switch as soon as you walk out on the floor for the first jump. We need that switch on.
No doubt. And again, we've asked this question. I've asked it to you many times. I'll ask it again because it's still relevant. How much of that is on Zach? How much is that on Doug Christie and the coaching staff to get Zach more shots?
It's enough blame to sprinkle around, Scott. It really is. All of it don't go on Zach, but a lot of it does. All of it don't go on Doug, but a lot of it does.
Yeah.
And, you know, and all the way down to some of the assistant coaches. You know, they keep stats on everything.
Yes.
You mean to tell me that it took those guys to the third quarter to say, Zach only taking 7 shots.
Yeah.
Zach's only put up 6 shots. That's supposed to be rectified at halftime, Scott.
Yeah, that's not advanced analytics.
No. that needs to be rectified at halftime to where somebody comes to Doug and say, Dougie, Zach only shot the ball 4 times.
Yeah.
Something, we got to change something.
Yeah, something's got to give here.
Right.
No question. Now, Doug, in the pregame presser, which I know we aired here during the drive, guys, seemed very upbeat, optimistic, like the way practice went, is focusing back on the process. He said they kind of went back to before when he took over in that LA game, going back to basics, simplifying things, making sure everybody's on the same page. And according to him, some great practices, and the process is where he's focused right now.
You know, I really like Doug's approach to the whole situation. You know, there haven't been one other guy that's been more positive. There hasn't been one other guy that knows and speaks the basketball language. There hasn't been one other guy that, you know, can really bring players together and get those players to work hard. I believe Doug's a great motivator in that. You know, I think Doug is just having a hard time right now because it's, you know, it's during the season, Scott.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's hard to teach and win at the same time. I don't care what nobody says. You know, it's hard to correct and win at the exact same time, and especially when you have to do the corrections of what Doug Christie has to do.
No question. And true, it's all about the process, and the old adage you play as you practice in large part is true. So those are all good things. But at the end of the day, we all know it's about wins and losses.
Right. You're still trying to win a basketball game. And I put this out there early on when I was on with the drive guys, Scott. How many practice days have Doug actually had with his basketball team since he's taken over?
Yeah.
8, 9? I bet you we haven't had 10.
Well, and here's the other thing. You add up the amount of practice days, but with which squad? I mean, as Doug said, he's pretty much had 3 teams since being head coach.
Like I said,
yeah.
Since he started, how many practices has he had with this basketball team? I know he haven't had 10.
No, probably not. And again, changing roster, everything else.
Right. And still trying to win basketball games. That's hard, man. That is tough. So, you know, when you look at Doug Christie, don't look at him and say, you know, oh, you know, he's just got this easy job. No way, no how, because it's hard to go in, try to have practice and change things. And, oh, guess what? Oh, I forgot to say that we got a prep for Memphis. We played them tonight.
Exactly. There's a lot going on. Life in the NBA, it's not easy, but as Doug said, it's a great opportunity, and that's how the team has to look at it. Nobody wants to hear woe is me. It's about what you have in front of you.
You know what? It's a win-win league. nobody's going to feel sorry for you. I mean, at the end of the day, Doug knows that.
Yep.
We're just pointing out the obvious. Doug knows nobody's going to feel sorry for him. And every basketball team that come in here is going to say, yeah, Doug's got it tough, but check this out. We need this win, Doug. You're going to take another L.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody cares. All right, we have set the scene from Golden One Center, a big homestand for the Kings. We'll go through it when we come back. Game night being brought to you by Howard Gumbo. And again, a new sponsor to game nights and the place to go in Sacramento to get your gumbo going.
Yes, sir. And like I said, don't forget the catfish platter. You cannot forget the catfish. Gumbo is number one, but the catfish is a staple.
All right. I can't wait to get over there. I'm going to have dinner over there this weekend, as a matter of fact. Looking forward to it. 2120 Marconi Avenue. They're open Thursday through Sunday. Thursdays 11 to 8. Fridays 11 to 8. Saturday and Sunday 2 to 8. Howard's Gumbo, proud sponsor of Game Night. We'll be back with more right here. Sacktown Sports 1140.
Domantas Sabonis plays here.
He finds Sabonis, put the frosting on the cake, put the cherry on the sundae. Sabonis with a two-hand flush makes it 114-106.
Sacktown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
Come check out Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room with the most variety of table games in the region in a safe and friendly environment. Plenty of well-lit parking available, conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. And remember, Capital Casino has the best food, the best service, and the best action. 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. For more information, log on to capital-casino.com and please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Big savings are back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. New Hondas are piling up, and that means big savings for you.
Looking to own or lease? During the spring sales event, drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have health news, a CDC update.
Pneumococcal vaccination is now recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just 1 dose, and millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
Whitey here reminding you that not all grills are created equal. When buying a new grill, every detail matters. For March, grab a $149 gift with purchase of every new Napoleon Prestige stainless steel grill, including a pizza lover starter kit and much more. More March savings include up to $79 off Rogue models. Napoleon grills are built different, built better, built to last, with a lifetime warranty and premium stainless steel that boasts quality. See how Napoleon will help you achieve the perfect grilling experience. Visit Green Acres Nursery today with your best selection of Napoleon grills and accessories.
Welcome back into Game Night right here, Sacktown Sports 1140. Scott Marsh along with the high flyer, Henry Turner. As we get you ready for Kings and Grizz tonight, first of 7 at home for the Sacramento Kings. And as we talked about with the Kings at 33 and 33, obviously these next 7 are huge for Sacramento. So the good news is you have 7 at home. The bad news, high flyer, you've got the Grizz. Oh, yeah. And then you have the Cavs, who just lost yesterday, broke a 16-game winning streak on Wednesday, the best record in the league. Back-to-back with the Bulls on Thursday. Giannis and company and the Bucks come rolling in on Saturday. The defending champions, the Celtics, are here 1 week from tonight. OKC, the best team in the West, here on Wednesday. And then you finish up on another back-to-back against a young rising Portland Trailblazers team.
Hey, let me tell you, nobody said it was going to be easy. We knew this part of the season were coming when we first looked at the schedule. We said, okay, coming down to the end, Kings got it heavy at the end of the season. So they better rack up some wins. You remember we talked about storing up wins for the winter, being like a squirrel. We knew this time we're coming.
The time is here. So as a player and as a coach, you can only focus in at one at a time. As broadcasters and sports talk guys, we can talk about all 7 here. Doug's talked about the home court advantage, creating one, feeding off the crowd. I mean, it's never been more important than it is right now.
Yeah, because you need to use every little ounce to your advantage to try to win games, whatever it is. The crowd, the opponent, being on your home floor, sleeping in your bed, eating your favorite food, whatever it is, Scott. Yeah. Find a way to give something a little bit extra to try to win these games.
No doubt. And again, that's been the one thing over the last 3 years, going back to even when Mike Brown started and had that great year a couple of years ago. The Kings' home court record was nothing really incredible. And this year it's just 16-15 at home.
Yeah. You know, and all NBA teams want to have that home court experience. They want to have dominance on their home court. 50-50 is for role play, Scott.
Yeah.
But when you're playing your games at home, you want to be dominant. You want to feel like anybody that walks into your home has a hell of a night, and you pretty much have a good advantage to try to win.
Yeah, and let's put this in perspective because the Kings are in 9th right now, okay? The top 8 teams in the league. I'm going to go through their home court record right now.
Gotcha.
Thunder, 29-5. Rockets, 25-10.
Great.
Nuggets, 23-11.
Nice.
Grizz, 25-11.
Take it.
Lakers, 26-7. Warriors, 21-13.
Well.
T-Wolves, 20-14. Clips, 23-10.
Uh-huh.
And then you look at the Kings, 16-15.
Yeah.
That's the separator, right?
Right. I mean, when you look at it and say, okay, well, they're playing 500 ball at home. No, that's not where you want to be at home. You want to be dominant at home. You want to be 500 on the road. You know, the Kings have been very good on the road. They've been able to win basketball games on the road. I think they've been able to do what they, what the standard of winning road games would be. It's all they fall short here in this building.
It hasn't been enough. And obviously they have a chance to grow that mightily, but with that homestand as it shakes up right now, I mean, again, just talking between you and me, what would be a successful homestand based on the opponent?
Wow. Okay. Based on who's all coming in here?
Yep.
500 would be great.
4-3.
Yes.
Okay. If they could have a winning record on the homestand, I agree that that's got to be considered successful regarding who all they're playing here.
See, whenever you have to look at OKC, Boston, Cleveland, and let's throw anybody else out there. Just those 3 alone.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, understanding that, okay, Chicago isn't a cakewalk, but coming here, you should be able to do something with Chicago.
Yep.
But
Chicago and Portland seem like the most winnable games. They're the ones that are second nights of back-to-backs, as it turns out.
But in true Kings fashion, seems like every time we walk into Portland, we get smacked.
Yeah.
Portland finds a way to beat us.
We have not played well there.
Right. So, those aren't gimme games.
No, they're not.
By no stretch of the means. And you're playing some of the best basketball teams coming down the stretch.
Yeah, no doubt. It is a daunting task for the Kings, no doubt about it. But as Doug Christie said, they're going to be put through the fire. They're going to find out a lot about themselves here over the next week and a half.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, and especially when you're on a team like this team here, is that pretty much everything's under a microscope, all the way to Doug Christie's job.
Yeah.
Everything is under a microscope. You could talk about the front office. Everything is under a microscope all the way down to the players. So if I'm on this basketball team, you better understand that they are looking at everything.
No doubt. And everybody knows that's the reality of it, but you can't walk around as if that's the reality. You still have to find a way to play with joy. And get the most out of everything and not be tight because of the pressure.
You know, if you love this game, Scott, and this is what you want to do, especially at this level, these young men have been blessed to play basketball in this particular era, because everybody getting paid in this era. It's not like back when we played. Everybody is getting paid in this era. So if you can't bring your energy and effort, and we talk about energy and effort, look at the Memphis Grizzlies side.
Yep.
Those guys are fired up. They're having fun. You have to be that way, understanding that you're playing a kid's game, but you're getting paid a man's salary.
No doubt. A Grizz team that's 18-14 on the road, by the way. So they will not have John Morant tonight. So that will be a factor. No doubt about that. We'll get into that a little bit later in their Ginger and Hammer injury report. It's one thing to say play with joy, and all those things are true. But when you're getting drubbed like you did against the Knicks, you follow it up against the Warriors, and then what happens Friday in Phoenix, it's hard to find that joy.
Okay, I understand, Scooter, and that's true. You know, it's hard to find joy when you're getting drugged. But I'll tell you what, energy and effort and heart and soul, I can give you that and
should always be
drugged.
there. Yep.
Right. I can give you that and still get drugged, because getting drugged is just a result to what happens out there. I'm going to give you everything I got, and if it just come up short, it come up short, but I'm okay with that because I did everything that I could possibly do.
No doubt about it. All right, let's just talk technical stuff right now. Obviously, the Kings' turnovers have been high, got worse ever since the Fox trade. What can the Kings do with this roster to help keep the turnovers to a minimum? What can they do?
You know,
I mean, that's just not heart and soul. That is
technical. Technical
it
side.
is. Yeah.
We talked about this early on, saying that is the Kings a still up and down, high octane type team? Well, they can be, but with that type of play, the turnovers are very, very high. So seeing that you've changed personnel, slowing the basketball down ain't a bad thing, because I tell you what, Zach LaVine is still able to get his shot off in a slowed down type offense. Debo is still able to get his shots in a slower type offense. So I would slow things down and maybe start calling some plays. Call some actual plays to where it's not free flowing. It's not read and react. You got specific places that you need to be. So everybody knows you better be in that corner. Everybody knows you better be at the high post. Everybody knows you're coming off this double screen. So it won't be that, well, I thought he was going this way, or I thought he was backdooring. No, it's specific to where you have to know, and you don't turn the basketball over that way.
Yeah, and to your point, I think that's what Doug was talking about in the pregame press conference in terms of what the work they did over the weekend was all about.
You know, and I like that, because it really let guys know. And you know what else helps out? It helps out. Zach only has 4 shots at halftime. Okay, Zach, I'm calling your number the first 3-4 times out the gate. So you better get 4 shots on that.
Yep.
This is your play. And the only reason why you don't shoot this play is that they blow it up, and then we go to our counter. But the play is for you.
Yeah, no doubt. Obviously, we've seen Devin Carter back in the lineup again. Markelle Fultz, who they signed, hasn't played as much of late. Now, to the point when he did play, he was turning it over as well. So I'm just really interested to see in terms of that backup. You've got Keon coming off the bench. Obviously, Malik running the point when he's starting, playing a lot of minutes. I don't know if there is a specific person answer to it.
Doubt it, because Malik is starting point guard, right?
Yep.
And a lot of times when Malik comes out the game, Keon goes to the starting lineup?
Yep.
And I'm not saying that he's not using Devin Carter. I'm not saying that he's not using Markelle Fultz, but I'm saying that I'm talking crunch time minutes.
Yeah.
And crunch time minutes where, it's late in the game, and you're in a game, you might be down a couple of points, you might be up a couple of points. Well, you're not looking at Devin Carter at the point. You're not looking at Markelle Fultz at the point.
Right.
If Malik Monk is not at that point, you got Keon Ellis in that position.
Yeah, true. All right, here's the one I left as the biggest question here that I want to get into. We can talk about it in the next segment if you want to as well. Explain to me the opponent three-point shooting percentage this past week. New York comes in, they bury 22 of them. All right. Golden State gets 22 of them. And then Phoenix shoots 24 of 43 on Friday night from the line. I mean, all season best for those teams. Again, we talk about heart, soul, everything else. That's kind of a technical thing. Why have the Kings been so bad defending the three-point line of late?
Okay, well, I will tell you this. I will give Golden State a pass because their main thing was to get the ball out of Steph Curry's hands.
Yep.
And let's see if the other guys can beat you.
Yep.
And they shot the ball particularly well. Okay, the defense did what it had to do, but Golden State offense made them pay. I'll give them that game. The other games that you're talking about where they're getting killed from the three-point line, that's just man on man, heart and soul, one guy against the other, not bringing the energy as far as defending the three-point line. Because we're not talking about you getting screened. We're not talking about, you're losing a man on the screen. We're talking about guys who are just being open at the three-point line to where they're not closing out. They're not helping and recovering. And then on some instances, who are you helping on? Why are you helping? Why are you leaving your man?
Yep.
So that a lot of that has to do with basketball IQ.
Yeah. And to the point, and you know what? It's not fair to just compare one game to just one other specific game. But Phoenix yesterday was 9 of 49 from the three-point line. They were 24 of 43 against the Kings.
LA was running them off that three-point
line.
There
you go.
They were seeing some type of resistance at that three-point line.
Yeah.
These are NBA players. If you let guys just catch the ball, lace it up, and shoot it, well, I'm 59 years old, but if you let me catch it on that sideline,
you're going to nail
it. Shoot it.
Exactly.
I might be able to shoot 50%.
No question. I mean, the Kings have to get that cleaned up. Have to.
But that's all about how you represent yourself out there as far as guarding your man at the three-point line.
No doubt. We'll see if they can do that and take care of the basketball on the offensive end. Those are two major things. We'll get into a lot more of that coming up in the next half hour. This is Game Night. It's brought to you by Power Business Technology. Experience for yourself how the Power of Family can help you with all your business copier needs. Give them a call today, 1-844-POWER-BZ, or go to powercopiers.com. Ed Rowe and the crew are going to be here tonight from Power Business Technology rooting on the Kings. We look forward to seeing them. Our good friend Eric Hasseltine is here as well, a longtime voice of the Memphis Grizz. We'll see if we can get him on in the next segment. This is Game Night right here, Sacktown Sports 1140.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sacktown Sports and the Sacktown Sports app.
Hi, I'm Justin Gingery from the law firm of Gingery, Hammer & Associates. When you have been injured by the fault of another, you will want advice you can trust. If you know an attorney you can trust, I hope you call that person. But if you don't, please call me. I promise I will be the attorney you can trust, along with my entire team. I have been helping accident survivors recover compensation for their injuries for 25 years, and we can help you. There is no charge for calling. If you have an injury, just call Gingery.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
With so many newsletters, blogs, podcasts, and such about the game of golf, I appreciate the listen here at Golf to Go. But here's one I look forward to in my inbox. It's called Power Fades, and written by a fellow New Englander named Jim McCabe. He covered the game for the Boston Globe for 23 years, going on to cover the PGA Tour for Golf Week magazine, followed by a position with the PGA Tour as Senior Manager of Communications. Since 2021, he has self-published his digital golf newsletter called Power Fades. McCabe says he has a passion for playing golf that is surpassed only by his passion for writing about people who have a passion for playing golf. I open his newsletter with a smile on my face, knowing I'll encounter another's highs and sometimes lows, as McCabe writes with great sentiment about regular people's regular lives and their place in the game. And his front 9 musings add humorous reflections to this tidy package. Visit powerfades.com now and thank me later. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblett of Hoblett Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, and Woodland. Well, it's the Ram Truck Month sales event, and I know that means discounts.
Right now, you can save up to $17,500 off MSRP on new 2025 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab 4x4s. And we don't just have a few Rams. We have Northern California's biggest selection, with over 500 new Rams available.
It's a big city savings with the small town customer service.
Exactly. When you shop at Hoblet, you become part of the family. Plus, we don't just have big savings on Ram trucks. We have almost 200 vehicles at the Hoblet Certified Pre-Owned Supercenter and over 30 under $20,000.
Search, select, and save through their whole inventory at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
17,500 total net savings after 10,500 factor rebates and 7,000 dealer discounts. Rebates include 2,000 Chrysler Capital bonus cash. Must finance through Chrysler Capital. 1,500 National Conquest dealer cash. Must currently own or lease a Ford, Chevy, or GMC brand vehicle. And 500 on-the-job upfit. Must show 500 plus eligible upfit. 5 of the net savings. Sample VIN 684-262. See dealer for details.
Hi, this is Henry Turner, a.k.a. the High Flyer. I've done a lot of amazing things on the basketball floor, but now it's your turn to be amazing. For more than 55 years, Big Brothers and Big Sisters of Sacramento has helped out the youth beat many odds. Too many littles, especially boys, are still waiting for volunteers, Big Brothers. Volunteers should spend at least 4 to 6 hours a month with local youth who needs guidance and support. So donate your time to Big Brothers and Big Sisters of the greater Sacramento area. Get involved. It's easy as a layup. Call 916-646-9300.
Meanwhile at Xfinity. Okay, huddle up. Do you realize how many fans stream basketball? It's madness.
But real fans stream with Xfinity Internet.
Totally. We've engineered the fastest connection.
With reduced buffering and low lag.
'Cause making streaming better is what we do!
Yeah!
Yeah!
Can we let go now? It's really not a huddle with two people.
Switch to Xfinity Internet and stream live sports from the best seat in the house. Bring on the good stuff. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Actual speed vary. Not guaranteed.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sacktown Sports 1140.
Welcome back into game night right here, Sacktown Sports 1140. Scott Marsh along with the High Flyer, Henry Turner. High Flyer, Howard Gumbo, your sponsor to game night. I know it's your place in Sac.
I'm telling you, man, the catfish platter is where it's at.
I'm going to get myself over there this weekend. Howard Gumbo, located 2120 Marconi Avenue. Open Thursdays and Fridays 11 to 8. Saturdays, Sundays 2 to 8. Go check out their $5 gumbo deal. All right, time now. We are joined by the voice of the Grizzlies, longtime Sacramentan, and of course was a broadcaster here at Sacktown Sports, and my longtime friend from UC Davis, fellow Aggie, Eric Hasseltine. It's great to see you, my
Scotty, Henry, good to see you. You got a little South going for me, a little catfish platter, gumbo talk.
You got to get one of those.
We're not the unhealthiest city in America for nothing, people. We like to fry everything and just it's a barbecue and
sound good.
It's different. Yeah, it's different out there. It's hard to maintain a shape other than round out there when you're eating.
And Eric, I know you'll appreciate this more than any other broadcaster who comes through, but you are literally using the G-Man's headset right now.
I know that's quite an honor. I mean, I was kind of going over it with somebody last night, just how long it's been and like where we were. And we think of the new studios and the moves and the people that have come through here. And the fact to me, it's remarkable that three guys, Jason Ross, yourself and me, back-to-back sports directors at a school not known for broadcasting.
Exactly. Yeah.
And, it turned into something for all of us in our own way, which is something I take a lot of pride in. And I tell people, a lot about that. That to me was such a fun time. And, I catch your broadcast when we're traveling and I can listen online, which is such a great way to consume the product. I listen. It's so great sometimes being in the central time zone. I get out of our game and you guys are just in like the mid first quarter. So I catch a lot of the Kings action and, this place has always got a very, very special place in my heart. It's where I learned a lot of things about how to go about day-to-day, broadcasting life and how to become a professional. I made a lot of mistakes that I would not care to relive again in my life, but there was a lot of great times here, and I'm just so happy, every time I come into this beautiful building and knowing that this team's going to be here because the relationship they have with the city. And it's a little shake up, obviously, with the trade deadline, but always a fan base that's here. And I'm nervous about tonight's game. I'll be honest with you. This Doug Christie team gives us trouble.
Okay, want to ask you though.
Mm-hmm.
You guys know John Morant tonight,
right?
But for some reason, and I've always wondered about this for the last 2 years, this ball club still find ways to win without the head of their snake.
Yeah, it was really evident, not last year, because last year we didn't have anybody. We had 6 guys that we found, trying out.
You were the
for
Dallas
G League
Mavericks
teams.
last year.
Yeah, even worse. I mean, it was, and bless those guys because they came in and they were living their dream of putting on an NBA uniform, and they did not waste it. They didn't feel sorry for themselves. They fought, they scratched, they clawed. But, even in like the game here in Sacramento, you're closing against Sabonis and Fox and Monk and guys that are going to the playoffs. And we got 4 dudes that weren't even in the G League at the start of the year. They were looking for jobs. And,
G League, but you had a GG.
Yeah, we had a GG, and he was the one that was actually had been drafted. But that's part of it. And so the year before, when the Grizzlies fell to the Golden State or to the Warriors in the playoffs, man, they were so good without him because they had a steady hand in Tyus Jones, and that was a big reason. This year, it's the offense and the ball movement, Henry, that where everybody eats, everybody's involved. And I think, when you don't have Ja, you don't have that dynamic, break you down off the dribble, get to the rim, be ready with your hands up because the pass could come at any time type guy. So everybody's in. They came off a tough loss to Cleveland Friday night. They had second night of a back-to-back. You got a Miami team coming in that's hungry for a win. And I was really impressed with the job that the coaching staff and the players did to be ready for that one because they came out and they punched Miami right in the mouth. Jaren Jackson Jr., Desmond Bain set the tone. They took good care of the basketball. This offense, because it's fast, they'll make some passes, and you're like, what are you doing?
Right.
That's part of a 48-minute game, and they're getting better with it. And what people in Memphis are tending to forget, because we're all creatures of the moment when you're a fan of a team, is that a lot of these guys haven't had a lot of court time together in games. Now that Ja's healthy, Dez is back healthy, Jaren's been healthy, guys are coming back, guys are mixing in. That continuity, when you're playing fast-paced, like quick movement of the basketball, you got to know where dudes are. And if you're not used to playing with a guy, it's tough. Like Zach Edey struggled at first when Ja would go into the lane, and he'd just be looking up at the rim, and the ball would hit him in the back. And he's like, hey, man, I thought you shot that, because no one at Purdue ever hung in the air the way Ja Morant did and could throw him the pass. So it's going to be interesting, this last 14 games for this team starting tonight, 5 on a road trip. This is the beginning of it. How they gel before that playoff time, because they're going to have to come together, because as we know that fast-paced, up and down, free-flowing that you can get away with some nights, the playoffs, that comes to an end. There's a lot more high pick and roll. There's a lot more isolation with your star players. Give the ball to the guys that got you there. The other guys that have been eating all year may not eat as much, but they're still going to be factors, and it's going to be a different situation. So it'll be fun to watch.
Grizz are going to finish somewhere between 2 and 5 in all likelihood.
Yeah, let's knock on wood there.
Not absolute.
Not absolute. I'm still leery of that play-in spot.
Does it matter? And are you trying to avoid anybody? I mean, in other words, with Oklahoma City, you want to stay out of that 4-5 spot.
I mean, I always go to the coach's answer of it. You're going to have to play great teams no matter where you go. So to me, that doesn't matter. What matters is top 4. I think you want to be at home. You want to have that extra game in your hip pocket. There's a love of basketball in Memphis that, being in the South where college football is dominated really shocked me, because the college team gets it, the Grizzlies get it, and it does create a nice home court advantage when they're playing well. And so that's the main thing to me, where Denver or Houston or the Grizzlies or the Warriors or the Timberwolves or the Clippers or, any of those teams end up, the Lakers, I think that kind of you kind of let that go where it goes. But, for Taylor Jenkins, one of the things I really like about him as a head coach, he's always like, hey, we got 48 minutes tonight. You got 48 minutes in Sacramento against the Kings team that's right there on the 500 line that wants to solidify their spot. They're going to come at you hard. They're big with the trade. I mean, I know Malik Monk's in there, but when you talk about having Levine and DeRozan and Sabonis and having Valanciunas coming back, it's one of the few teams that can go into their bench and match the size the Grizzlies can bring off their bench. So they're locked in on each night ahead. They're trying not to look ahead. They don't do a lot of scoreboard watching. It caught some guys off guard in the media a couple of weeks ago when coach said, hey, we're not focusing on results, so intently that we're missing the whole big picture. And people are like, yo, dude, you got to focus on the results because you got to lock up home court. Right. So there's got to be a balance, and I think they have that. But, yeah, it's been fun.
Now, is it with you guys, is it championship or bust, or are you happy just to be in the mix?
I think anybody that's a competitor should think championship or bust. But if they don't get there this year, I think they've laid the groundwork for where they want to be. This league is so about the maturation process. You go back and look at how long it took Steph and Clay and those guys in Golden State to get to a championship level. They were getting bounced out of the playoffs. They get there and they figure it out, and they get that experience. And, it's not even in your first couple years. I mean, John Morant, Jaren Jackson, Desmond Bain, they're all like 25, 26, 24, 25, 26 years old. And there's not a real veteran spokesperson, but those guys are starting to become that. They found something with Folsom Natum, Jalen Wells. He's really a great kid on top of being the guy that we rely upon as an organization to take the other team's best player. And he doesn't shy away from the moment, a poise for a 21-year-old that you don't generally see. They've got some young pieces. I think everybody realizes who the team to beat is in the West. They're proving it on a night in, night out basis. So I don't think the front office is like, championship or bust, we got to go. I do think they want to get out of that first round, though, because they still have that sour taste in their mouth from the year they lost to the Lakers in the first round. And people have to keep in mind, that was the year Ja had the issues, but then came back and got hurt. Brandon Clark got hurt and ruptured his Achilles. Steven Adams was out, and you lost all of your rebounding. I mean, I can still see Anthony Davis grabbing rebounds in game one where I'm like, can somebody – oh, no, nobody can box him out because we only got one guy and he can't box out three, and that was Jaren Jackson. So I think that sour taste of not getting out of the first round, they lost the year before in the second round. Ja was banged up. I don't think it's championship or bust, but it's getting to that point. Mm-hmm. I think with this group they're going, is the window closing for a group many people thought when it kind of burst on the scene, hey, look out for these guys in 3-4 years. And that's where I was always saying, let's not talk 3-4 years. Let's talk right now and make sure you hold the line. And obviously some things happened on and off the court, injuries, off the court incidents that kind of slowed the train, but hopefully it's back on the tracks now, and we can just get back to playing ball.
Yeah, speaking of Ja missing his second game tonight, is there concern about his health moving forward, or is this more precautionary?
I think it's precautionary. Look, a torn labrum, and this isn't the torn labrum night, it's some hamstring soreness, but the torn labrum, I mean, golfers do that, and obviously it's a much different motion, but if it's in your shooting arm, he came back really quickly, I thought, from that, which is a sign that the procedures are getting better. But also, like, you can't tell me it doesn't affect you. Like, even a player that comes off, you can tear your ACL and you can be back and ready to play, but you're not the same guy until you go through 3-4 months. Same with an Achilles. And so I think people have been a little rough on him at times through things. And obviously some of that is through his own doing. And, when you're very vocal and outspoken about how you're going about your day-to-day life and people don't agree with it, you kind of put yourself out there. We had Chandler Parsons and the same thing kind of happened. So I think there's concern. He's, obviously he's 6'2", but he's 180 pounds. He plays at such a speed and such an elevation that, it's going to hurt when you get hit. And, you see times that he's just moving so quickly that he'll run into a screen and it looks like he got crumpled by a truck, and it's not a dirty screen. It's just he didn't see it and tried to get through it and didn't. And then the last time I checked, that floor is not made of a pillow. It's made of wood, and it doesn't when you hit it, it hurts. And so he's starting to get it. I really would love to see him embrace that mid-range floater that he's worked on his entire career. And he did that the other night against Cleveland when he scored 44, and then that opened him up to kind of give him a hesitation move and get all the way to the rim. So he's not trying to posterize everybody like he may have done earlier in his career, but you still got to protect yourself when you go in there, because 7 foot 245 against 6'2", 180. I go the big man every time in terms of the physicality.
You're going to lose every time.
You're going to lose the physicality where you might score the bucket, but you're going to remember it.
Didn't he say he was going to stop dunking?
He did say that.
That didn't last for a long.
No, it did. In fact, 2 games later, I forgot who it was against. He had this just ridiculous dunk where he was in the air and realized his head was at the rim level, and so he just reverse dunked it like it was no big deal. And I'm like, I don't even know that I could have done that on a Nerf hoop in my bedroom. And so someone asked her, said, I thought you weren't going to dunk. He goes, yeah, well, I was kind of up there, so I just decided I'd throw it in. I was like, yeah, cool, no problem. I was like, people dream about that, buddy.
I would say, how nice is it to have that option?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I'm just here,
Yeah, I'm just here. Maybe I'll just throw this in over my head.
No doubt. I know Saturday night it was Tony Allen night.
Yeah.
And retired his jersey. How was that?
Special. It's rare that you have guys that are wings that impact the game defensively the way Tony did. And rare that you have a guy never made an all-star team, never made anything but an all-defensive team that captivated the fan base the way he did. And it goes back to a night in Oklahoma City where we were shorthanded, going in, needed the win. You're going like, oh my gosh, Kevin Durant is just going to go bananas tonight.
I watched that game.
And Tony
shut him down.
Made it miserable. You're so on point with that, Henry. It was after the game, he talked to our sideline reporter, Rob Fisher, and I didn't hear anything. And like there's this kind of buzz as we get on the bus. I'm like, what happened? And like Tony's walk-off was legendary. And he says, you got the Durants of the world, you got the Westbrooks of the world. We just got to do what we do. It's all heart, grit, grind. And I'm thinking he meant to say grit and grind, like get dirty, but he meant the grind of playing defense. The slogan takes off. A local radio host puts it on a shirt. He had been just pounding the airwaves. Like, if this dude was good enough to guard Kobe in the finals, you got to play him. The coaches got to play him. It kind of became a source of tension because I would be on that show 2 days a week. I'm just sitting there going, he goes, what are your thoughts on this? And I'm like, I'm Switzerland, dude. I'm just going to sit here and be neutral and, sip some hot chocolate.
And you correct me if I'm wrong. I think that was that game to where I think KD was averaging almost 30.
Yeah.
And that night he held KD to 16 or 14 or something like that. I mean, just really shut him down. And I'm telling you, I use Tony Allen as an example for anybody that played in this league because Tony basically gave them nothing on the offensive end.
No.
But he was such a staple on the defensive side. You had to have that dude on the floor.
It's crazy, though, and he did. His shot was not there, but he would still score like 12 points a night because he would get steals and breakaways, and like 8 of them would happen on just haphazard plays. And then there was the night that really solidified to me his legend. We went to Cleveland, and the Grizzlies literally had barely enough guys to do the layup line. The Cavaliers are laughing. Dave Yeager talked about when he was coaching that game before he came here, and he said the Cavaliers are literally laughing. And Tony went out and cooked LeBron James like I hadn't seen LeBron James cook. Ate him up defensively, scored on him at will. I think was 9 of 9 in the game, scores 28 points for a career high. And so he was just a special player. It was a lot of fun to see. And it's always funny to me, like fans go like, why are you retiring that guy's jersey? What jerseys you retire, people on the outside don't always understand what those players meant to the organization. Of course, Hall of Famers, they're going to get it. But guys that matter, guys like Bruce Bowen in San Antonio and, Vlade here, those guys mattered. And they meant so much to the organization during stretch runs it's what makes it special.
Hey,
special.
Nobody did it greater than Tony. I'm telling you.
He was fantastic.
I love to do.
Yeah, he's a different cat. As I like to say, he's a lunatic, but he's our lunatic.
Exactly. When you talk to him, you know we talk about.
He's crazy. He is 100% crazy. It was an interesting post-game ceremony that was we actually were on over-the-air TV that game. And I think we're going to be getting some. We're going to have some conferences on some of the language that was chosen.
There might be some FCC people.
Yeah, I was like driving home, and I'm like, oh, that's 6, 7, 8. I got to 9. He got to his jersey number. Let's just keep rolling.
Yeah.
So,
oh man, Eric, great stuff
Great
as
seeing
always.
you guys.
G-Man's been here 40 years. How long have you been with Memphis?
25.
25 years.
Man.
Congratulations.
Thanks, man. I
doubt.
That is a great
24 will be
milestone.
25 next year. Yeah.
No
so.
doubt.
Yeah, it just means I'm getting old.
Eric Hasseltine, good friend, great broadcaster as well. We appreciate his time. We got to take a quick break. We'll come back. The injury report coming your way. This is Game Night, Sacktown Sports 1140.
Power Business Technology is proud to be a 100% independent, locally owned and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer since 2021. Contact us today for all your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Sacramento, what's up? It's your boy Henry Turner, aka the High Flyer here. Hey, you need something extraordinary? You like soul food? Howard Gumbo is the place for you. Family recipe straight from New Orleans. Gumbo is off the chain, good like mama makes. Check out their $5 bowl of gumbo. It's the best in the business. And when you talk fried catfish, fried snapper, sides, red beans and rice, Cajun rice, and gumbo fries. 2120 Marconi Ave in Sacramento. When you walk up, tell them the High Flyer sent you.
Come check out Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room with the most variety of table games in the region in a safe and friendly environment. Plenty of well-lit parking available, conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. And remember, Capital Casino has the best food, the best service, and the best action. 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. For more information, log on to capital-casino.com, and please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Let's face it, nothing makes you look older than you really are than thinning hair. But what if you could not only increase your hair count, but promote new hair growth without surgery, without drugs with potential side effects, and without a prescription from your doctor? Well, now you can, thanks to a breakthrough new supplement called Hair Grow, provided by New Nordic, the #1 supplier of dietary supplements in Europe. Hair Grow is now available in the U.S. Only Hair Grow contains Tocogaya, a powerful antioxidant that has received a U.S. patent. Multiple clinical studies show Hair Grow is safe and effective in promoting new hair growth. In one study, 95% of the patients using Hair Grow saw increased hair count. Don't lose more time and more hair. Try Hair Grow today to feel and look your best. Available online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com, or in stores at your local CVS. Look younger and feel more confident with Hair Grow by New Nordic at NewNordicUSA.com or in stores at your local CVS.
Spring is in the air, and there's really nothing better than hitting the open road in a new Honda. Whether you're shopping for new or pre-owned, Stockton Honda has the selection and savings. Plus, get top dollar for your trade. And while life's roads are often filled with bumps, buying from Stockton Honda couldn't be smoother. Wherever the road you travel might lead, Stockton Honda is happy to get you there. Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Welcome back into Game Night right here, Sacktown Sports 1140, Kings and Grizz. Game Night brought to you by Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. Check out their full line of luxury vehicles at mbofstockton.com. All right, time now for our Gingery and Hammer injury report for tonight's contest. If you're ever in an injury, call the law offices of Gingery, Hammer, and Associates. For that, we go back to Anthony. Anthony, what's the injury report tonight?
All right, for the Memphis Grizzlies, Santi Aldama is out, John Morant is out, Scottie Pippen Jr. is out, and Zion Pullen has been out for most of the season. And for the Kings, Trey Lyles is available. Just got that update recently.
All right, thank you for that so much. So Trey Lyles, Doug Christie was a little coy in the pregame press conference saying he wasn't quite sure an hour ago, but he will play tonight. So the Kings are healthy tonight. They've got a Grizzly squad a little undermanned. Doesn't make the task any easier, though, Henry.
No, it don't. No. Just because they're full, they got everybody on their roster doesn't mean it's going to be easy. You know, this is a Grizzly team that they're still looking for wins, Scott.
Yep.
You know, just like the Sacramento Kings, they want to win. So it's going to be a hard-fought game.
And we might see the two bigs tonight, Sabonis and Valanciunas. They've been playing Zach Edey a lot with Jaren Jackson.
Hey, now you get to see what can happen on a high-low game with both of our two big guys.
I know you've been calling for that.
Yeah, you know what? I want to see what it looks like, no doubt.
Yeah, I want to as well. So we'll see. Good matchup tonight. Kings 1-7 at home. Huge homestand. We'll have all the action for you. Game Night brought to you by the Big Brothers and Big Sisters of Sacramento. If you want to help out and be a volunteer mentor to a kid in our community, go check out Big Brothers Big Sisters, bbbs-sac.org. That's going to do it for Game Night. Coming up next, Kings Live pregame. Jason Ross with the High Flyer. 7 o'clock tip tonight. G-Man with the call. Keep it tuned all evening long right here. Sacktown Sports 1140.
Keegan Murray plays here.
Keegan scores another three-pointer. Keegan Murray knocking it down for 23 points. Match the Aaron Fox for game scoring honors.